morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We're here live June 15th, 2021. This is Ingwe Immigration's live question answer period for all kinds of immigration related matters, whether you're outside of Canada or inside, whether you're an international student, you want to sponsor your family, or you're looking at bringing in, creating your profile for express entry, applying for your PR. We have some of our regulars coming in. Again, everybody, we're here 9 a.m., 5 p.m. Today is June 15th. Anything we give out in terms of general advice is valid for today until the policies change. We're based here in Canada. If you don't know about us, check out our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube, and our website. We're happy to help. Good morning. Good morning, sir. How can we show medical proof? Medical proof for express entry is officially considered an appointment. So right now with many of the programs, so not all, but the federal programs where you're applying from inside of Canada. Remember this, from inside of Canada, federal programs, they're allowing you to create an appointment with a panel physician, which is the designated physicians on the IRCC website, and uploading that as proof that you will get your medical done. Okay, so if you don't already have your valid medical, you can create the appointment and from there provide proof of that appointment as your medical that you will eventually, whether it's 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 months, have that ready. Okay. So that's not for all programs. So if you're outside of Canada, that's different. If you're doing a provincial program, that's different. If you're doing some kind of business immigration, that will be different. But for express entry and the TR to PR pathway, if you do not have your medical yet, you need to have an appointment, at least a confirmed appointment with a panel physician. And when you do have your medical, you upload it. Or you can do an upfront medical, right? So when you go to a panel physician and they ask you, what kind of medical exam do you want? An upfront, for PR, you need a letter, right? And you just say, well, I want an upfront, or no, I already have a letter from IRCC, which is the Canadian Immigration Department. So we have, hello, sir, do we need IME for an upfront medical? No, you do not need an IME for an upfront medical. Upfront medicals are just upfront, so that's the whole point. Hello, everybody. Again, for new people who've just joined us or this is your first time, you can post your questions here live on the comments section and we'd be happy to answer all your immigration related matters. We're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Yes, it is summertime. That's why I'm wearing a t-shirt, which is very new. Most of our Instagrams, or if you look at the clothing we wear, it's always shirts and sweaters. But now finally we have summer here in Canada. It's the best time in Canada to visit. Our borders are slowly opening up. So if you're a Canadian, you have double vaccination, double shots, you can come in without a vaccination. Quarantine, the 14 days in the hotel. If you're an international student or visitor, it's still different, but over the next 60 days, we expect, based on COVID numbers, for the international borders and travel restrictions to be eased a little bit, not to be removed completely though. So if you have any questions, just post them here. We'd be happy to answer all your questions. If your English is not good, don't worry, you can put it in point form or send us a message in your own language later on, whether it's Spanish, Portuguese, whether it's English, French, Farsi, Mandarin, Cantonese, Vietnamese, and one of our colleagues would be happy to answer the question later. There's another question here is saying Kishavatar 216 is asking, does the hold on the CEC and the PMP application affect the TR to PR application as well with spouse outland? Does the hold on the CEC and PMP application affect? So I'm not sure if I understand your question in terms of the hold on the CEC, which means the Canadian Experience Class of Provincial, the TRPR as well with spouse outland. Well, the spouse can be outland. It doesn't matter. They can be inside or outside. There is no hold. So I'm not sure what the question is exactly. Maybe you can elaborate and I would be happy to explain. So again, for anybody who's just joined us, we're happy to answer any questions that you post, whether on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. We're live on all three platforms, and I will read out the questions so the other platform attendees can understand what the question is that we're answering. So Keisha Vatar 21 is also asking, are they following a specific pattern to sending the TRPR acknowledgements for PRs, or is it random? I believe it's their own system, so nobody can say if it's first come first serve, or well, definitely there'll be some first come first serve, but what system they use to distribute the work and to process the applications, right? So that's completely internal, and that will not be disclosed or given out to the public of how they're processing, checking the eligibility. But as I said in our last session, we already know that certain people are being refused that are not residing in Canada outside of Quebec, right? So there have been applicants from Quebec who've been refused already, because those are the easiest ones to refuse, because they're either not inside of Canada or they're not outside of Quebec. So they are processing right now. I expect in the next 2 months we would be seeing some correspondences already. Right now, with a lot of our clients within the last month who've been on express entry, the processing has become very, very fast, right? So we're seeing that permanent residencies for the Canadian Experience Class are hitting 3 months to reach the final stages of their PR, or even 2 months. So they're really trying to squeeze in everybody this year to meet their target of 400,000 new permanent residents to Canada. Okay, so if you have any questions, please post it here. Devianch AGL is asking, sir, is there any validity of police clearance certificate? So that's a good question. So sometimes on the police certificate, it says, oh, this is valid for 30 days, right? Depending on the country you're applying. Sometimes it says it's valid for 6 months. Typically, we say 6 months, but it depends on your country, and it depends if you've traveled back. Okay, so if you have a police clearance certificate from 3 months ago or 6 months ago, but you were back in your home country, or the other country, it doesn't have to be your default home country, and you were there for 2 months and you came back, they may require a new one. So that's a tricky question. There's no one answer for everybody. I've seen police clearance certificates where it says it's valid for 30 days, it's valid for 45, 60, or even 6 months, or even a year. But typically we see IRCC considers them 6 months. And it depends if you've traveled back or not during your time while you're here in Canada. Okay, so we're going to look at the questions. So again, everybody, this is a free session. You can post your question, whether it's on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, and we'd be happy to answer them live, whether it's about international workers, students, family sponsorship, business immigration, admission to schools, restorations, visitor visas, refusals. So that's a huge thing that most people are struggling with from countries where the refusal rate is high. So if you're applying for Mexico or Brazil or Colombia, Chile, these countries, the refusal rate is very low, right? But if you're applying from Turkey, if you're applying from the Middle East, Abu Dhabi embassy in Ankara, even Warsaw, so in Poland, if you're applying from Russia or any regions where the embassy in Warsaw, Poland, is actually processing, these are high refusal rates, okay? Or even Vietnam. Vietnam, if you're not applying through the student direct stream and you just want a regular visitor visa and you're not the parents of a Canadian, or you're just doing a regular study permit without the student direct stream outside of that program, refusal rates are high. They're not impossibly high, but they are high. So keep that in mind, everybody. We're happy to answer your questions about PR, express entry. No question is too simple or too complicated to answer. So don't worry if you don't know what express entry is, if you don't know what how to do school admission, if you don't know what a visa is, what is the difference between an open spousal work permit and a postgraduate work permit. Any questions there are, we'd be happy to answer. Again, we're here 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern North America Standard Time to help out and answer your questions. You know, whether it's about filling out a form, okay, you're not sure. Should I include my education here? Should I include my work experience? How should I put on the form that I was unemployed for 2 months, you know, between my studies and, let's say, my my job when you started working, right? So we got Negin who's asking a question. Can you please tell me which university or college is more suitable for me and my husband for master's interior design? I know it is a bit general. Yeah, it's a bit general, but okay, so interior design in universities is not very common, right? So there's two things to look at, Negin. One is, what is the budget? Because you can go to University of Toronto and study, interior design, and you can pay $40,000 a year. But does somebody really want to go University of Toronto and pay $40,000 a year to study interior design? I think it'll take you 10 years to make that money, or 20 years, right? Ryerson, for example, is one of the best recognized schools across Canada, and it's even recognized in North America as the design university. However, it depends on your budget, right? Going to college and studying interior design is good too, right? For masters, though, obviously you're very limited, right? There's not many options. As I said, in Ontario, we have Ryerson, which is one of the well-recognized, very well-recognized school. But you're looking at $25,000 plus for a master's program, right? You can do postgraduate diplomas or certificates in colleges, but in terms of the universities, most universities, they may have an interior design. Not all of them will have a master's, but I know personally that Ryerson does. Other universities do. But you really have to figure out, do you really want to spend that much money? If you're an international student, if you're local in Canada, then yeah, get a loan. You have the local tuition fees. That's great. You have a lot of options. But interior design is also a lot of art schools, right? In Vancouver, in Ontario, that specialize in art design. So you have to really figure out how much do you want to spend, where do you want to study, and then look at those options based on your budget. Okay, but as I said, the most well-recognized interior design school in Canada is Ryerson, especially for masters, and you do need a portfolio. Okay, because I've personally had some family members who are looking or were looking at going there. You do need a portfolio for your admission. It's quite competitive. However, if you're just looking at an immigration point of view, I would say don't be picky, and you don't necessarily need to do a master's, or if you want to do a master's, maybe you look at other options too, because for example, if you study an MBA, there's like over 100 programs across Canada, right? From universities or institutions which are allowed to issue master's degrees. But if you're looking just at interior design and just at master's, your options are very limited and potentially expensive. So Marthu, there's another question here. Martu Allegrino. How do you apply for college or university from Argentina? Okay, so Martu Allegrino, it doesn't matter where you're applying from, it's the same process, okay? So basically, you contact the school, they have an admission process, right? So typically, if you go into college, they need to see your high school diploma and transcripts. You need proof of English unless you're doing an English or French pathway program, right? You upload your IDs, like a passport copy, high school, the transcripts, your diploma, any proof of language, okay? And you have to fill out a admission form in terms of what are your top programs that you want to be applying for and your contact info. You pay a registration fee. Every school is different, but registration fees can range from $50 to $150. If you are eligible, even our education department can process admissions. We do that. And if you have the eligibility to get a visa very quickly, we may waive the registration fee from the school. So if you're interested, let us know, contact us through our website. But typically schools are the same. Universities are more tricky. Universities want to see original transcripts. During COVID, they're more flexible though. Okay, so you need to have all your documents scanned. You apply online, there's forms to fill out. You upload your supporting documents and then you wait. You need to make sure you have your eligibility criteria for that program that you're applying for, right? Whether it's postgraduate, a diploma, a bachelor's, or a master's. University admissions take longer. It could take up to 3 months or more. College admissions can take anywhere from 2 weeks to 8 weeks, depending on the program, depending on the college. Okay, there's colleges that are slow, colleges that are fast. Again, if you're interested and you are eligible for study permit, for example, a valid US visa or travel history to US, Europe, or Canada, we'd be happy to help you. And because that's what we do for international students. So I hope that's answered a little bit of your questions. Can you please spell it? Oh, okay. Negin is asking Ryerson. Okay, here we go. Ryerson. I'm going to spell it. I just spelled it in the comment section. So that's the university. That's one of the best recognized universities for interior design. Okay, and I personally know. Okay, I have a family that has studied there and is always looking. So Danny, hi Daniela, how are you? I work in Immigratio if you need help. Yeah, so Danny is there as well. She's just posted her email. So if you like, email her directly. She's one of our colleagues who works in our office, helps applicants from inside of Canada, outside of Canada, whether it's school, work permits, permanent residency, business immigration, or set up a branch of your company or office inside of Canada. Okay. So Tessir Lima is asking, if possible, it could inform you which are the best provinces to immigrate for a person who's over 50 years old. I intend to study and immigrate. I have a diploma and 2 graduate degrees. Okay, so I think I had this question before, but basically by the time you come and study, okay, if you can get a study permit, so as long as you have the eligibility to be approved for a study permit, because you have to look at your gap. If you have a valid US visa or valid Canadian visa, then it's easier. But if you don't, so first have to look at the first step, study permit approval. Then you come and study at a college or university here, right? A designated learning institution. By the time you graduate and you're eligible to work full time and to count for immigration and to convert to PR, it may take 2 to 3 years. By that time, you would be 52, 53, right? At least, right? So it depends on your birthday. Is it January, December, when are you applying? Certain provinces, the max age for the provincial program is cut off around 52 or 55. Okay, so you have to watch out for that. Second is an express entry federal program, there's no age requirement. Okay, however, you lose significant points when you're over the age of 29. So you have to consider that as well. So sometimes if you come with your family and you have a partner or spouse, they may be more eligible. So they may have a better chance. In Ontario, the provincial program does not penalize you for age. So that's good, right? So there's no age restriction, but the points-based system in Ontario is very challenging. Same with BC. So BC is good too because they prioritize certain occupations. Ontario does too in certain ways. So there's certain provinces, so this is Tessir Lima, that you should avoid fully because their provincial programs have age limits, and I know Nova Scotia, for example, has 55. You can send us a message on our website. We'd be happy to elaborate. But yeah, certain provinces do not have age restrictions, however, very challenging to get in, okay? But there's probably 1 or 2 provinces I would recommend for you but I'd have to see more details about your profile. And there's no such thing as easy immigration. It's just a matter of which ones are more difficult or challenging, which ones there's more options or there's more flexible. And there's 1 or 2 or 3 provinces that we always prioritize. With an age of anywhere from 50 to 55, you'd have to be extra careful. And as I said, there are provinces that I can email you a list if you like. Reach out to us on our website, okay? Martu Allegrino is asking a follow-up question. Do you think college or universities are better for international students? Well, it depends. If you have enough points to be selected through express entry next year, this year they're not taking anybody from outside of Canada, then you can just come in as a PR. But if you don't have an IELTS of 7.787 or higher, you're older than 29, or and you don't have 2 degrees post-secondary, one being of a professional degree like a master's or equivalent, then you have no chance of coming here directly as a PR. Therefore, that's why everybody comes here and studies, just to come inside of Canada, be eligible for programs from inside of Canada, and to gain Canadian work experience, which is one of the most successful paths to permanent residencies. So yes, a designated language program, a school such as a college or university that can accept international students would be your best choice, again, depending on your profile. I have a US visa and Canadian tourist visa. Yeah, so Tester Lima, yeah, so you potentially can obtain a student study permit. And as I said, it's not just because of your age. You have to look at your profession, your language ability, your previous experience, how many degrees do you have, all these sort of things. And then probably there'll be 3 top provinces that we would recommend. But again, just like this, I can't really tell you which ones would be better for you because of information which we don't have. Martu Allegrino said, do they give scholarships? They do give scholarships, Martu, but very limited. So be careful, everybody. There are colleges which charge $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, right? They're private, and then they charge you $15,000, and they tell you, I'm going to give you a $10,000 scholarship. So it's kind of like, oh, here's an iPhone. It costs $800-900, but I'm going to give it to you for $2,000, and I'll give you $1,000 discount. Is that really a discount? No, it's a scam, right? And then there are schools, for example, one of our universities, which is giving a master's, is offering, I think, a $3,000 scholarship right now. But what's the tuition? You're looking at over $25,000 a year because it's a master's program. Colleges typically do not. There are limited scholarships available, but hundreds of thousands of people applying. So international students typically pay 90% or more of the international student fee. Do not expect to get scholarships unless you're, top student from university and you're applying, and that's 1 in 50,000, right? 1 in 100,000. So don't expect scholarships. There are limited promotions and scholarships. As I said, our colleges usually don't give scholarships. Universities do, and master's programs do, but limited. So if you are spending $25,000 and you don't mind getting $2,000-3,000 scholarship, great. If you're going to private colleges, they may tell you, oh, we've got $17,000 tuition fee, and we'll give you a $10,000 scholarship. Well, to begin with, their fee was $6,000-7,000 anyway. So they're just giving you a marketing spiel. Anyways, everybody, we're here every Tuesday, 9 a.m., 5 p.m. to explain the Canadian immigration system to you. We're back here at 5 p.m. today, okay? It was great, seeing everybody and answering their questions. We're always happy to help all kinds of applicants, whether you're outside of Canada, inside, sponsorship, business immigration, international students, work permits, refusals, visas, you name it, okay? PRs. Last question before we sign out. How do you know how to choose a province to immigrate? Well, you look at your own profile, right? It's kind of like, how do you choose your car? Like, you want to buy a car, how do you pick? Well, you look at your requirements. Hey, I have a family, I have kids. I have this, so I need this car. I need like a minivan, I need a family-based car, right? Or I'm a good driver, you know, all these sort of things. So the provinces are the same. Are you alone? Are you with family? What is your profession? How old are you? How's your English? Do you have family or friends here in Canada, right? And what do you want to study, right? If you want to study culinary, cooking, right? Well, those programs are all across, but there's certain schools which are better, and there's certain provinces where you could probably land a job quicker, right? And if you're older, like our you know, the colleague, one of our viewers today asked, you may have more limited options, right? So Martu Allegrino, it all depends on your profile, right? And if you like, you can always reach out to us, fill out our pre-assessment form, and we would give you advice on which province is better, which school to study in that province, right? If you're, for example, planning to, let's say somebody wants to work as a housekeeper. Well, it's a national occupation classification code of C, for example, right? I'm not sure if it's C or D, but the Atlantic Immigration accepts C or semi-skilled, right? So, but if somebody wants to become IT, then yeah, BC, Ontario, there's a lot of opportunities, but also other provinces. If you have family, and you have high living costs because you're 3-4 people, well, maybe you have to consider that as well, right? Do you want to live in Toronto or Vancouver, which are very expensive? Or do you want to go somewhere where the living costs are better, or the college costs 50% less? You can go to public colleges that charge 16 to 17,000 or 9,000, 9,500. And they're all public colleges, but I'm not talking about private. So you have to consider that as well, okay? There's no one answer for everybody. This is the most important thing to understand with immigration for Canada. There's not one solution for every applicant. Every solution is different. Every applicant is different. So based on your profile, you go towards the program, the school, the province, or the immigration path that fits best to you. So there's people who can get all good points in express entry, so that's perfect for them. But there's people who cannot get PR through express entry, so they need to look at federal programs or the provincial programs, right? Or other types of programs. And again, sometimes your spouse or partner has a better eligibility criteria for PR. So you have them study and you work, because if they're studying in an academic program and not language pathway, and you're their spouse or partner or common law, you can get an open full-time work permit, right? So remember, there's a lot of variations. There's over 75 programs, immigration programs all across Canada, because we have 10 provinces, 3 territories. Each province has at least 5-6 programs. And then the federal program has another 7, 8, 10 programs by themselves. So you do the math, okay? And you will see there's over 75, 80 programs. Programs that are sometimes tricky to navigate, easy programs like the TRPR pathway, which is a temporary program, right? So there's a lot going on with Canadian immigration. It is the best country to immigrate to right now when you compare it to US or Australia. I'm not saying we have better weather. I'm not saying there's more job opportunities than US, but when you look at UK, Australia, and US, for immigration, permanent residency, Canada is #1, okay? And if you live here for 3 years after your PR, and you've never spent time before that, you can become potentially eligible for citizenship. And if you have a Canadian passport, you can travel to US visa free, okay? So again, everybody, this is hardcore stuff. I know some of you already know everything. Some of you don't know a lot of this stuff because it's new, but that's what we're out here to help everybody with. You can reach out to us on Instagram, our website, ingwe.ca. If you're not sure if we're good at what we do, well, check out our Google reviews. Search Ingwe Canada on Google and you'll see our reviews. Most of our reviews are not even posted, and some of our video testimonials are also not posted, right? But our team is there. We're not a one-man show. We have over 10 people across our different locations helping, and we speak over 7 languages: Spanish, Portuguese, Vietnamese, Mandarin, Cantonese, Turkish, English, Farsi. And if you need other languages, we're always happy to accommodate that as well. Anyways, thanks everybody. We're back here 5 p.m. today, Tuesday, June 15th at Eastern Standard Time. Happy to help out anybody with questions. Thanks again for joining, everybody. Take care. Just shutting it all down. Thank you. Thanks for